Welcome to the Cardinals Locker Room Show, presented by Santan Ford & Gilbert, home of the Tim Hovick Satisfaction Guarantee.
Come on, man! Come on!
Let's get back to the stadium for analysis and exclusive interviews from the Cardinals locker room. Here's Dave Pasch, A.Q. Shipley, and Paul Calvisi.
A long season has finally come to an end. The Cardinals lose to the LA Rams by a final score of 37-20 after leading 20-16 late in the third. Looked like the Cardinals were the better team. Not saying they were, but looked like they were the better team for about three quarters. They were outplaying LA. Cardinals had a bad turnover early, basically just gifting LA 3 points. Yet the Cardinals still had the lead. They had scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter with a couple of explosive plays after a fake punt, and the Cardinals surrendered 3 touchdowns quickly. And it got out of hand, and the Rams win it 37-20. Jacoby Brissett with 2 touchdowns in the loss. Matthew Stafford, 4 touchdown passes in the win. Michael Wilson finishes with 99 receiving yards and a touchdown. So well over 1,000 yards, which is remarkable, AQ, when you consider that, we really didn't see much of Michael Wilson being a factor. Not sure why. Not sure what took so long. Part of it, I'm sure, was him just needing the opportunity. But it's great to see that Wilson, in about a 40% of a season's work, gets over 1,000, which tells you big things are ahead.
The interesting thing, thinking back to the early part of the season versus the latter half of this season with Michael Wilson, is through the first 5 games, we've talked about this a lot, and the fact that he only had 52 yards receiving, basically. And then all of a sudden just takes off. And within every play, there's an opportunity or an option to get it to any of the 3 receivers, plus the tight end, plus the back. So there's really 5 options on almost every single play design. And early on in the season, it seemed as if every single play went to Marvin Harrison Jr. or Trey McBride. It never got off of those 2. And whether they were the first option and the second option and it only got that far, or if there was just force feeding early in the season, but all of a sudden, once you let the plays develop and get through the progressions and get the ball to where it needs to be and who the best option is, it seemed to be the best option was Michael Wilson, right? I mean, I think that's become very evident and very clear throughout the latter half of the season that the best option is either Michael Wilson or Trey McBride throughout the second half of the season. You can argue Michael Wilson has become the absolute number 1 go-to guy on this team.
So whoever is calling the plays next year, whether that's Drew Petzing or somebody else, the Cardinals need to figure that out, how that's going to work. When Marvin Harrison Jr. is fully healthy, where does he best fit in? How do we get Michael Wilson involved? And the Cardinals obviously will try to add some weapons to the offense, but that's going to be one of the first things that the Cardinals will have to figure out in the offseason. All right, Calais Campbell, hopefully not his last game, but he's standing by with Paul.
Well, with that in mind, let me ask you, let's just start with this. If there was a thought bubble over your head right now, what are you thinking? Tell us your thoughts in this moment right here.
Well, I ran out of gas. I mean, I only played like 1 or 2 plays in the second half. I mean, all the special teams, but on defense, I only played like 1 play. First half, I played 26, and I was out there flying around and trying to leave it on the field, and I think I accomplished that. But I wish I had a little more in the second half, though. I was just, the way the series went, I didn't get a chance to play much. But I'll say that, I had fun out there. I mean, it sucks to lose, but I told myself I just wanted to play some good football. Be relentless, play with good hands, fire off the ball, and just go have some fun. And, feel like, in the first half I accomplished that, but it wasn't much in the second half I was done.
So where did this game turn? One question about the game. Where in your mind? I mean, because they 20-16 Cardinals led in the third quarter, and the Rams responded with 21 unanswered at that point.
Yeah, there was a couple plays. They started running the ball. They switched up their run game. They were doing what we thought they were going to do, and we were shutting it down. And they made some adjustments and got some some big plays in the run game, which I think opened up their play action. And then play here, play there. Miscommunication. Guys are open. They put us in tough spots. But I really feel like, if Mike Wilson had that big play and it got called back for, I don't know if somebody said blindside block or whatever it was, whatever the situation was, I think if he makes that play, I think we win that ball game. He made the play, but if we get the thing upheld, I think we win that ball game. But a good team like that, you start giving them momentum, make a few plays, and they're gonna get you every time because they're just such a good, well-coached team, and they have so many playmakers. So you got to take advantage of the opportunities when they're there.
Calais Campbell is our guest. What did you soak in the most this last month, this last stretch of games? Were you sure to sort of, savor or really value certain aspects in the final days here?
Well, I think the last 2 weeks have been a lot of savoring. I think once we got eliminated from the playoffs, things are a little different. It's just, the way my body felt was different. Everything was good. But the last 2 weeks, I felt good. I felt like, I just wanted to just play some good football. I didn't really care about no stats, care about, anything. Just wanted to play some good football. And so I flew around, had fun out there today. Last week, both of them were, losses. I think, were pretty bad. But, from a little kid that just dreamed about playing in the NFL, all my life since I was 6, I love football, and I had this dream of being here. It felt good to just go out there and play some football. Even though, we're out of the playoffs, you're not playing for anything, you're just out there as as a person that's trying to make my younger self, that kid in me, proud. Trying to inspire other kids out there that want to play the game. Just play it the right way. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about, wins and losses. Just play football the right way and have fun doing it.
For fans who are wondering, have you made the decision yet?
No, there's no decision made yet. There's no decision made yet. I will say that, it's 50-50 probably, and we'll see how my body feels. Got through, I think, somewhat healthy. I'm probably going to get some self-image to make sure I'm good, but I got through somewhat healthy, which I think is the number one thing, right? If you get through healthy, you got a shot. If you're hurt, it's probably going to be done. So got through healthy, but right now, I can't even tell you. I think it's 50-50, man. A lot of guys on the Rams are telling me, I can't hang it up. You're playing too good, you got to play again, which I appreciate. When your opponents think you should play again, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, actually. You think about it a little longer, it's like, hold on. You think you can beat me? Nah, I take it as a compliment. But, even some of the coaches are like, man, you still got more in the tank. Don't shut it down. But we'll see, man. Just one day at a time.
Because I see you getting feedback from opponents all the time out there. I don't know what they're saying, but it looks like it's pretty dang complimentary, right? So if there's a 50% chance you're done, how emotional is this moment for you right now?
Well, I told myself I didn't want to think about it emotionally. Like, I just want to go out here and play good football. I told myself, don't worry about if it's your last game. Don't worry about anything. Just go out here and play a good football game. And in the first half, I feel like I played about as good as I could play. Of course, a couple plays here, a couple plays there. You wish you could play a little better, but I played about as good as I could play. I feel like I signed my work. But I shot my wide. I had nothing left. Second half, it was just like, okay. But it's, week 18 with an early bye and I played every game. So, it sucks. I probably could have paced myself a little better. I think if it mattered more and we had a chance to win, I probably would have paced myself a little better so I could have something left in the tank. But, I just told myself, just empty the tank. I emptied it earlier than I wanted to, but, but I wasn't worried about, the emotion of this. I don't, I feel like, I don't ever think that the emotion of being the last is really going to be a bigger deal. Larry Fitzgerald's my big bro, and he always said, he's a run off in the sunset, not going to be a big emotional, no press conference, something like that. So I'm probably going to do the same thing when my time comes, if it is now or not. You won't really get a big press conference. You just know I'm done.
We could do an hour here, but let me ask you this. Is there something you're most proud of? And or is there something you want a lot of these young guys to maybe take away from your game in your career? Because we go all the way back to when you were a rookie, when the scouting report said they faulted you for not having a motor, which was just absurd and hilarious and laughable at this point. You're in year 18. But is there one aspect of your career that we could talk about for an hour that you're most proud of?
Oh, man. I remember being a rookie. And I remember talking to Chris Carter at the Rookie Symposium. I used to do that back in the day. And it was like after he got done speaking to the whole group, and there's a couple of us over there talking to him kind of one-on-one. And he said something in the speech that I kind of just wanted to ask him about. And I remember him just saying, play the game in a way that the ghosts of the game, the guys that you looked up to, will be proud of. When nobody's watching and you're out there just competing, play the game in such a way that the Reggie Whites, the Bruce Smiths, the Michael Strahans, they'd be proud of the way you played the game. And so for me, when I talked to those, Strahan, I remember the first time he told me he respected my game, and that meant everything to me. Bruce Smith has become a mentor, but when he tells me like he loves my game, that means everything to me. Even Charles Barkley texted me this morning, telling me to get the sack, get my money, which I didn't do, but that means everything to me when the guys that I look up to and respect and that were my idols, tell me that they appreciate the way I play the game. That means everything to me. So when I think about my career and what it represented, what it stood for, was that I was gonna play it to a level where I did it right. I did it right. And did it my way. Hey, little Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. I played the run game just as good as the pass game. I was elite. Shutting down. Getting TFLs to shut down people in the run game, but also getting sacks. And I take great pride in doing both. So. This sounds like I'm saying goodbye, talking about my career, but we'll see. Who knows?
Look, you're that rare player who's on a first-name basis with the state of Arizona. So just in case, we just want to say on behalf of everyone, the Red Sea and beyond, all of us in the media, thank you. It's certainly been a pleasure to cover you and watch your career, most of which was spent in Arizona. So thanks, Calais.
I appreciate that, baby. Bird gang, love you.
All right, guys, back up to you.
Good stuff there from Calais, and even Calais said it sounds like that's his farewell interview, but who knows, maybe there's a chance. I'm sure you were in his shoes, AQ. What's going through his mind? You played, 12 years in the league. What's going through his mind as he started to think about what to do next?
It's interesting. As I got older, it was like every single year it was like, is this going to be your last? And very similar to kind of how he was. It was every year I came out healthy. It was like, okay, here we go. Mine was a little bit of a different situation because my neck injury occurred during the season, and it was basically like you can't play anymore. So there was no decision to be made. That decision was made for me. If you're in his position, that's a tough decision because whenever the game is over, this is the one sport. You can go play pickup basketball till however old you want to. You can go play golf. You can go play baseball in some beer league or do whatever. This is the one sport you can never duplicate. When you're done with this game is done with you. And it's hard to leave because there's so many things that you miss when you're done. The biggest thing I miss when I'm done is the locker room. It's the camaraderie. It's the boys. It's the stories. It's the plane rides. It's all of the things. And, you miss all those things and you can't duplicate that. You certainly can't duplicate walking in front of a stadium and hearing 110,000 people, and you can't duplicate those feels and the adrenaline and all of the different things. So I'm sure all of those emotions are sitting there in his head right now, and he's like, man, what do I do? And I still played pretty good. I still probably was the best interior guy on this team this year. I still had some statistics to back it up, and then people were telling me I can still play. But then again, you're 38 and you wake up, and I remember there was one off season where my foot and ankle didn't feel right until May almost. And so those are the times where you're like, oh, maybe it's time.
You transitioned pretty quickly and easily to both coaching and broadcasting, and you're still doing some coaching work and mentoring work with young offensive linemen. For somebody like Calais Campbell and anybody that's thinking about the next step, but particularly Calais, does that weigh into your decision? Like, what do I do next? You had in mind, I think, what you wanted, or at least a couple things that you wanted. I don't know that Calais knows what he wants to do next. Does that play a role? If he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do after this, maybe I just want to do nothing.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things. But the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody who's, contemplating retirement or about to go into retirement, the biggest thing is you do this for so long, especially if you've had a 10-plus year career. You do this, and then you're behind all the people in your age group that went into their field. And so it's like, what do I do next? And so many people get lost and they don't know where to go and they don't dive in. I think the biggest thing that if you're going to be done with something, be done with it. Don't second guess that and go into the next field. And whatever that next field is, don't have one pinky in, one toe in. Dive head first in. I heard Kevin Hart say that one time. If you leave yourself no other options, you'll probably have success doing what you decide to dive head first into. But if there's a plan B or if there's a boat waiting for you at the end of the road, then you probably won't succeed in that. So whatever that is, if this is it and he decides to go into something, dive head first.
Cardinals Locker Room Show presented by Tim Hovik, Santan Ford and Gilbert, right on the price, right on the corner of the Santan 202 Freeway and Val Vista. We are awaiting Jonathan Gannon, the Cardinals head coach. All right, AQ, let's get back to the game and the season. If you're the Cardinals, what do you think? And I'm not going to ask you, obviously, about who stays, who goes, players, coaches, whatever. Just in terms of what you need to address first and foremost. If you're Michael Bidwell and you're trying to figure out, okay, this is the first thing I need to look at to try to improve this team for 2026, what would you have in mind?
I think the first thing is everybody from top to bottom should look themselves in the mirror and be quite honest, and then from there you got to make decisions.
All right, we'll get back to that. Coach is standing by with Paul.
All right, Coach. Well, we talked to you at halftime. You come out of halftime, and Jacoby Brissett a couple of touchdown passes. The D got a couple of 3-and-outs, and it seemed like the catalyst in a way was that fake punt. The guys sort of, I don't know, respond to that, and because there was some good ball there most of the third quarter after that fake punt.
Yeah, I thought that was obviously a good play by Matt. We had that up, felt good about it, and then we scored the next play. Cut the lead to 3, then got off, 3-and-out punt, scored again, took the lead. But, give credit to LA. They did a good job there in the late third and the fourth quarter, out-executed us, won the game.
Yeah, was there anything that changed? They had the 3 touchdown drives, and all 3 touchdown passes were to tight ends. Was there anything in particular? Because they put 21 up in a row at that point.
Yeah, we obviously didn't do a good enough job. I thought stopping the run and then you're playing in mixed downs all day is going to be tough.
I know a priority was getting them to third down. When you did, though, and you did with regularity, 10 of the 15, if I'm seeing it correct, were 2 yards or fewer. So just tell us about that.
Those third downs you got to play as mixed downs. It's going to be hard to get off, you know what I mean, especially when a lot of those are in 4-down territory. So it's not even really third down at that point to me. But, they did a good job of first and second down, staying on schedule, being efficient, and took advantage of the third and shorters.
Couple of individual questions. Josh Sweat, his career high 12 sack. How gratifying was it to see him get his career high there?
Yeah, he had a good year, man. He did what he was supposed to do when he got here, and I'm proud of him.
We didn't expect to see Elijah Jones, and he comes in. He had 2 pass breakups, his first real defensive snaps. What did you see out of him? Yeah,
I thought he did a good job. Max was, he went down at the inactive list there. When he was warming up, got a heel. And Elijah, sure enough, Will goes, he gets hurt, nicked. Elijah comes in and played well. I was proud of him. I thought he did a good job.
Puka Nacua, one of the best in the business, obviously. Michael Wilson came out in the same draft. There were those who compared them just because they have similar body types. They're real dogs. They attack the football. What has the NFL learned about Michael Wilson? He's a 1,000-yard receiver officially.
Yeah, he was a warrior all year, man, and I felt like, he was battling all year and made a bunch of plays. And, that's what good players do. They maximize their opportunity, and he was consistent with it. It wasn't one game here, one game there. He didn't get a ton of targets early in the year, and then, he kind of just took off. And he was, that's a guy, too, with Marv kind of out of the lineup a little bit. Really took over as wide receiver 1 and did consistently and played really good ball. I'm proud of him this year, man.
Yeah, how much of that is him growing into the role, or was it just a matter of him getting an opportunity?
I mean, a little bit of both. I think he kept working on his game. He got better and better and better this year, and then he got a bunch of opportunities and he made the most of them.
How about Trey McBride? So that's 2,000-yard receivers for the Cardinals, first time since 2015. I mean, what sort of confidence does that give you going forward with those guys?
Yeah, they're 2 big-time players, you know what I mean? Marv will be healthy. He'll be back. Feel really good about it. Trey, he's just like Mike, man, warrior, shows up every day, consistently makes plays for us. He's a prime-time player, man.
And look, we got a lot of time to talk about next year. Was there a particular message you wanted to give the team after the game going forward?
I told them we'll talk tomorrow, but I did tell them, I said they should look around and be grateful for everybody in here, because this room will look a lot different. That's the nature of the NFL. But I told them I was grateful for them and I appreciate them, because you go through a year like this with a lot of adversity. If you don't have good guys, the job's not fun. And I had fun every day. So that was cool, man.
And you haven't shied away from the word change. I mean, that is going to be part of this offseason, correct?
Yeah, I mean, when you go through a year of adversity like this, you have no choice but to learn and grow. and change. That's what it is.
Any other takeaways from this one? The mode of play, the effort, the intensity was there. That seemed to be a constant all year long.
Yeah, that was on point today. I knew they'd come out and play. Right to from the first snap, from the first whistle to the last whistle. Ultimately couldn't get it done, but I was proud of them how they battled today.
And last question, Jacoby Brissett, just A, him filling in almost last 2/3 of the season, and then B, his willingness to just hang in the pocket, the shots he takes, and then just his leadership. What can you say about the job
True
Jacoby
warrior,
did?
Man, true pro. I'm so grateful that we have him. He came in here and he put it on the line every week, man, and that's all you can ask. I love him and appreciate him.
Coach, we appreciate it all season long.
Thank you, guys. Travel safe.
Okay, there you go, Jonathan Gannon.
All right, Paul, and thanks to Coach for his time. Going back to, before we get out of here and wrap up, just going back to what we were talking about prior to Coach, just kind of looking back big picture. I think the first thing that the Cardinals need to do this offseason is when Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon came in a couple years ago, they laid a foundation. They started to build a culture. Whatever happened this year, injuries being a big part of it, obviously things did not go as expected, not even close. Very disappointing. What are we and what do we need to do to become what we want to be? Meaning, what is our identity as an organization, as a football team, and from all the levels of the organization, what do we need to do to fix that, to get back to who the Cardinals were supposed to be? Who they envisioned they would be in 2025 that didn't happen. That's kind of my thought of what the first thing is to figure out your identity going forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I think the biggest thing is to be overly critical. Let's not sugarcoat anything. Leave no stone unturned when you go into this offseason. You have to look at everything from top to bottom, look yourself in the mirror, be overly critical, and from there make the right decisions.
Our executive producer is Jim Omohundro, associate producer Cody Fincher, engineers Brian Dubose and Dave Marcus, technical director Ali Narini, in-studio coordinator Matt Lazarus, vice president of digital content, creative and brand is Surf Melendez. Stay tuned, Craig Grialou, Rob Fredrickson, next with Cardinal Talk for A.Q. Shipley, Paul Calvisi, Dave Pasch saying so long in another season. This is the Arizona Cardinals Radio Network.